Hey, what's going on? It's your boy, Richard, and today I'm going to be talking about a miter saw that I picked up. Yeah, let's check it out. So this is the King Canada 8 1/4 miter saw, compound miter saw. It's got 5,500 RPM, 120 volts. This is how it looks like. It's got the protective cover for the blade. That's the stock blade that comes with it. And here it's just on the sticker, got the different cutting capacities that it has. It's got the handle here. You press that and it turns the blade on. When you press down, it's also got a laser. Where's the button? Right there. You press that and it causes the laser to engage. So you can see that the laser's on right now. You can see where the line is. What else has it got? It's also got a dust belt that comes with it right here. And there's also a knob here on the side here. This, when you turn this, will allow the saw to kind of go this way, kind of like that. One thing to also see where the angle of the cut is for when you're having it go this way, you know, either way like that, is there's on the side, you can see the degrees of where it goes all the way up to 45 degrees. To allow swiveling of the cutting area for it to go from 45 degrees both ways, you have to unscrew the sides here, these little knobs on the side. It's going to be kind of hard to do with one hand, but basically you can kind of twist it at that point to where you want to set it. So kind of get the gist there. It's hard to do with one hand. I picked up this saw from Home Depot. I'd ordered it in, and it cost me about $152, including tax. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you first pick this thing up, this miter saw up, is that there's a knob, a switch right here, which locks it. So when you pick it up, it'll actually be locked in a position down like this. And what you need to do is that you actually need to go and pull this knob and twist it. I'll do a quick demonstration here. So kind of hard to do with one hand, but I'll kind of show you. So basically it's locked, and you're gonna pull it like that, open it like that, and then it'll open right back up. Also to store it, you would do the same thing if you needed to. You would bend it down like that, and then you would pull like that, twist it, and then it would lock it in the down position just like that. It also comes with some screw holes on the bottom that you can screw into your workbench. Obviously I just have this sitting on just a Black & Decker portable work table, but if you wanted to screw this into your big bench, or even if you wanted to screw it into a work table like this, you definitely could to give it more stability. As you know, for picking up any miter saw, you always want to make sure that the blade is set square. Of course, you do that, you would typically get a square, pull this back, and then you would line up the blade as square as you can with the blade to make sure it's square. So upon reviewing my own video, I'd realized that I actually had this slightly off square. So you want to make sure that it's sitting at the base and that the blade is touching all the way up against your speed square, and this blade is set to square. To adjust, making sure that the blade was square, what I did was that I basically came around like I showed you earlier, and I just adjusted this knob and just moved it over so that it was square. Before I make the cut, I marked it with a pencil line so you can see just how accurate it is. So when I line it up, we'll go with the kerf on the inside, so that way it's just touching the pencil. So we're going to move it over right about there so you can get the blade to cut right just after the pencil line. Now, I didn't show a video of me cutting just because it's hard to do this with one hand, but it did a really good job. It cut it basically straight on the line. It's completely flat, completely square, very even, and it's a nice, simple, uh, smooth cut. So I had it like this, and I mean, like I said, it's kind of hard for me to show you with one hand, but it did cut it right where I wanted it to, and it was smooth. One thing I also wanted to bring to your attention to keep in mind is that sometimes when you're cutting the wood, be mindful that the laser, as it's right there, sometimes can get bogged up with a little bit of sawdust, so you have to clean that every once in a while. I typically just use a toothpick and just sort of just scrape around the side there and then wipe it off with a cloth. When you do pick up these types of saws with the laser, a lot of the time the blade, or not the blade, the laser will be actually slightly off. So what to do for this particular saw, which was kind of a bit of a pain, is that you have to come and take a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and you have to sort of pop it off. I don't know if you can see it, but right where the tip of my finger is, kind of like right behind there, you have to sort of, it's like a clip, and you have to pop that in to pop this part out. And there's two different spots. There's that spot there, and then there's another spot on the other side. Where is it? Kind of right behind here. Now, I'll admit that I actually broke the tab off on that one by mistake. As you can see, it's supposed to clip in. I snapped it off by mistake. And another thing as well too is that this part here with the screw, that's actually what you use to kind of move the laser back and forth a little bit. I've already adjusted it, but it's supposed to be covered, and what ended up happening is that I was cutting a piece of wood and it got caught. I was cutting too thin of a piece of wood, and it got caught, and it shot it back and actually broke the covering for that part. I'll see if I can find the piece. Yeah, this little red piece here is actually supposed to cover somewhere. I'm supposed to cover it somehow. I can't remember. It covers it anyways, but I broke that part off. So I see if I can find the piece of wood that I broke too. This is what I did to a piece of wood. So this is nothing to do with the actual machine itself, but more just me just trying to cut something that was way too precise. That was causing an issue where I brought the blade down, and then it had pulled out like this, and as you know, the blade cuts in this motion, so it got down, got caught, and then it literally just shot it back and just banged the thing and smacked it apart and ripped the wood in a terrible place. So basically what to do to avoid that: when the saw is coming down, obviously make sure you've got it's nice and firm and solid. I'd only been holding a little bit of it on the one end and wasn't enough to give it a grip, and it caught, pulled it. So steady grip, make sure the saw blade comes to a complete stop before you do anything, because if not, this is what could happen. I'm lucky this didn't shoot around and cause damage to myself. I was very lucky. And I find for a lot of the times when it comes to many tools, a lot of it is user, like if there's any issues, it's user error type of stuff. Not that the tools and machines themselves aren't good, but a lot of the time, if you don't set it up properly or have the right precautions on it, or have it dialed in or squared or set up, you're not going to get an accurate cut. So a lot of people like to be like, oh, this tool sucks, that sucks. Sometimes it really depends on the user, so keep mind of that. One thing about it that I kind of do wish that I wish that it had, that it doesn't, is that I wish it had like one of those little areas to put one of those clamps. This doesn't have that, which is kind of a pain. And I don't know if there's a way to maybe install that. There is a hole here and a hole there, so maybe I might be able to put it through there, but actually not really, because that's where the wood would be going. So I don't know, but I wish it had one of those clamps. Overall, I think it's a pretty good miter saw. I haven't used a whole heck of a lot of miter saws. I've used this and a DeWalt and a Makita. And I mean, like I said, if you know where your line is, where your marks are, and where you're trying to cut, I think it's a good saw for what it does. I've built benches and tables and a bunch of other things using this very miter saw, and I've had no issues with it. So pick it up, try it out. It was $150 from Home Depot. It takes about a week to ship in. Hope you find this review helpful. I haven't found any reviews on YouTube, so that's why I decided to create one about this exact matter. So enjoy. Thanks for watching. Bye.